Hello, welcome to Logo 3 Sports. So the women's Big Ten basketball tournament's going on right now. Today is Friday, March 7th. And so we interviewed the fans after the noon game today. The Indiana Hoosiers playing the USC Trojans with JuJu Watkins. So we're going to get the fans' thoughts, feelings about the game, what went down, and we're going to get them to compare JuJu Watkins, this #1 player in college basketball, with Caitlin Clark. Who's better? Let's see what they think.
HBO, my man. How you doing?
There you go.
Good.
Good.
What's your first name?
Justin.
Where do you live, Justin? What is this from the area here? Or?
I live in Los Angeles.
Hey.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
USC or UCLA?
USC.
You're just the man I wanted to talk to.
Definitely.
Pretty good game in there today.
Great game.
Yeah.
Great game. Indiana played really well.
They played hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are your favorite 1 or 2 players on your team?
JuJu Watkins, of course. You know, I think if Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are Magic and Bird, then JuJu is Jordan.
Right.
And I think she's a transcendent player in women's basketball, but basketball in general. And then Kennedy Smith. I think that if JuJu is Jordan, then Kennedy Smith is Scottie Pippen because her arms are long, her defense is crazy, and the tenacity that they play on both ends of the court.
So I like your analogy about JuJu being Jordan relative to Bird and Magic. Tell me what most special about JuJu? Well, yeah.
I think JuJu has a flair for the moment. I think that she's a competitor on both ends of the floor. You know, for her to come in as a true freshman at USC last year, they ended up winning the Pac-12 championship. Made it to the Elite Eight, if I'm not mistaken. And this year, she had to play an almost entirely different game, right? They got Kiki Iriafen from Stanford to come down. They had TVO come from Oregon State, so she has seasoned players she has to play with now. And then they had one of the top recruiting classes. So you have Heckle, you have Avery Howell, and a few others on the bench that are just brand new players, right? So she has an all-new team. And this team is better than the team was last year. They moved to a new conference. They win the regular season. I think they're in a great position to potentially win the Big Ten tournament and knock off the #1 team, undefeated UCLA, hometown rivalry.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then the first game she put up 38 and 8 blocks, something crazy, and then the second game she had another 32 as well. So, you know, even today, you know, today's game against Indiana was, I think, probably a little closer than a lot of the Trojan community would have hoped it would have been.
Okay.
But, you know, at the end of the day, she had 31 and 10, and they pulled out, you know, 5-6 point victory from a very tough, very good Indiana team who's been good for years now. And Garzon, and I'm going to mess her name up, Caesar, the point guard, you know, big game players. And on both ends of the court, there's JuJu Watkins, you know, making a difference.
Who's better, JuJu or Caitlin?
I think that overall JuJu's better because she plays both ends of the floor. Like, I think when you look at Caitlin Clark, I don't know if there's a player that's more exciting than Caitlin at all. You know, I think that what she's done to the game is a lot like what Steph Curry did to the game. And for me, I think one of the things that Caitlin, her biggest impact is her ability to bring, offend anybody when I say this, but to bring guys watching the game, right? And, you know, with Steph Curry shooting from the logo with such a high efficiency rate really opened up the game to players or people who couldn't necessarily relate to a basketball player, right? You get to a point where you start watching basketball and all these super tall, highly athletic players, and it's like, well, if you don't fit necessarily the basketball prototype, it's hard to connect with it. And Steph Curry's ability to be a regular person, you know, just a really great heart, very personable, ultimate competitor, but also extend the range in which players are shooting ended up transcending basketball. And that's what I love most about Caitlin Clark. Because you could look at Caitlin Clark's game, and you could be in a gym by yourself, and you could try to match her shot chart, and fail miserably every time. Yeah. And then at the same time, she always comes up big in the clutch games. She is way better off the dribble than people give her credit for. You know, I think as soon as she develops a consistent floater, as soon as she develops a consistent mid-range game, there's almost no stopping her. And I think outside of that, it'll just be the only difference between her and JuJu will be the defensive end of the ball. And here's the reason why I say JuJu again, for one more reason. She's a 3-level scorer, right? She's going to get to the rack. you don't want to, if you're not going to be able to shut JuJu down at the elbow, you're going to have a very tough game. And then she's also a three-point threat. Now, she doesn't have the same range as Caitlin Clark, but I think a three-level scorer who plays both ends of the ball, that's very tough to stop.
You're terrific. Great analysis overall. Do you remember when Bird and Magic came to, I don't know if you're old enough, you may not be, when they came to the NBA?
I don't remember when they came in the NBA.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Well, thank you. Any last comments? Because you've just nailed it. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is the most exciting time for women's basketball that I can remember. I'm a longtime basketball fan. I used to play basketball. I think one of the things I love about the women's game, and perhaps is a detriment in the men's game, because I watch the men's game quite a bit, and you can tell that everyone has the same coaches, everyone goes to the same camps, they have the same trainers, they're doing the same drills. And so I watch a lot of pro basketball, even men's basketball, and it looks like I'm watching everyone do the same thing. Same pick and roll, three in the corner or go to the hole for a dunk. But on the women's side, I think that's actually advantageous, because I think the women are going to the same camps, doing the same drills, having the same coaches. And so when I'm watching it, as opposed to watching women's basketball in the 90s or early 2000s or even the 10s, the skills gap is closing. So everyone's got a Euro step now. Everyone has the same inside-out dribble. Everyone has the same skillful mid-range three-point shot. And so that to me makes it a higher level of basketball, particularly women's college basketball, because they stay 4 years. So you get a chance to grow with a team, grow with a player, grow with rivalries. It's not just about the college and the coaches, the way the men's basketball is transcended. And men's basketball has a lot of challenges, right? Because when you look at men's college basketball, they're also competing with G League players for NBA spots. They're competing with Overtime Elite for NBA spots. They're competing with European players for NBA spots, Australian players for NBA spots. So you're no longer watching the premier non-professional basketball when you're watching men's college basketball. Can't say that about the women's game. You get to grow with these fantastic players who are doing the same moves, except for dunking, as the men are, for a 4-year period, and then they go into the WNBA, which is so loaded now they don't have enough teams. They don't have enough teams. And I just think the ceiling is unlimited when it comes to women's basketball right now. I'm a huge fan. Big shout out to Caitlin Clark, because she brought so many people to the game. Big shout out to JuJu Watkins for doing the same thing.
And JuJu is young, and she's going to be a crazy dominating force in her years to come. All right. Thank you so much. Excellent. Good insights for sure.
Thank you.